lousy way to start a friendship. Sarah Jane. So what do I do now?
Welcome back to the Tiny Room Hangar. This is Mike coming at you with the Ramen Toy Techno Horse 30303030. Very cartoon accurate, BraveStarr-ish-esque figure, and they've gone a different way, a different route than the vintage one. It does not transform. It is meant to be an action figure. It's got a lot of accessories. You can accessorize this guy. You could do a lot with it, and it's very solid. But I'm going to go through and show you everything about this thing, and I did get it at Gundamit.com. I've linked down below where you could possibly get yours if they still have any in stock. And yes, this is a great figure. I mean, I'm giving it away at the beginning, but there are a few things to look out for. So some things to handle, to deal with, and is it perfect? Well, it's pretty good. Let's talk about this coming up. All right, here is the box, and the art's amazing, actually. And this is not the actual product. Of course, it's a nice render of the product. Inside, you see that little different pose of the art. It looks fantastic. And then we've got him in there. Now, he is in there kind of weird because he's at a side angle, kind of, because he's a big figure. And I guess that's how they fit it. So the box isn't super thick, because it's still a pretty thick box overall. So it shows the stock keeping stuff. Here's the back. And yeah, I did get it from Gundamit. Sales inquiry. You can go to Ramen Toys. All kinds of fun stuff. But yeah, there's a box. It's nice packaging. It looks good in the packaging. Not great. I don't like the side angle. But then again, would you want a bigger box? I don't know. I think I need a bigger box. No, I like the size of the box. All right, so what do we get inside the box? Well, we get the figure. I'm not exactly sure. I guess I'll figure it out what's rattling around. That piece there goes to something. And then this is instructions, not for transformation because it doesn't transform, but just kind of show you what's going on with the figure. And then we've got this box of accessories. So we've got his back harness, and we've got Sarah Jane, and we've got some mining devices. We've got another head, which I actually like the head that's on him a little more. And then we've got all the hands, all these hands, and I really should look it up, but I do believe he is right-handed. But if the character was left-handed, I would put the left-handed stuff. Anyway, there it is. There's all the stuff that comes in the box. And notice it says 3030. It says Techno Horse, but 30. The original name, like the maybe it was code name, was 30, and now it's Techno Horse. That's pretty cool. All right, so here he is right out of the box, and I think he's a good-looking figure. Fantastic looking figure. I will say there's some options here. One of the things I didn't know you could do, and that is to, let's lower it down here, make his legs completely straight for the most part, like a regular action figure, or you can make it look like every other, well, the cartoon. It's not every other. There's only one other version of him. Now, I don't have him on the stand, and I was showing it's possible to have him stand without the stand, but he has small hooves and a lot of weight on him, so I'm just showing that it's possible to have him stand without the stand. But then I'm probably going to use the stand for the rest of this, just make it a little bit easier. There's so much weight to this guy. He's a big dude, and yeah, let's get this guy on the stand. All right, here he is on the stand, and he's looking more like intended. You can arch this back, bring that forward, and that's kind of more along the lines of, but I don't know. I just kind of like him standing straight, but this is the way it is. We'll get into articulation here in just a bit. There are a few things about him that I'm going to say fiddly parts because there's so much included and so much going on. These things right here sort of pop off. And so we've got them at the knee, which the knees have stayed on for me really well. But the I don't know, with the type of plastic, the softer softer plastic here, it's almost rubbery in a way, pops off real easy. Not a big deal. I mean, once I'm done with this review, he's going to stand on the shelf looking good, and that's what's going to matter. So those have popped off. He's got them on the elbows. I had an elbow one pop off, and again, it's not really that big of a deal. There's tabs on each side, and you just press them in all the way. But just be aware of that. One head popped off in the box, and my head was off in the box, which wasn't a big deal. Everything kind of held that in place. But I guess let's get into all of these features and other things that he's got going on. Now he has these saddlebags that carry over from the show and from the vintage toy. Now they're connected into the shoulder area by this tab. These are rubbery, and it is nice. It does feel nice. If you had the vintage one, we're going to compare the vintage one, of course, compare it to the vintage one. So it's the same thing on both sides. Just plug in that rubbery tab. Now that does limit articulation a bit. So when I get to articulation, I'm just going to take that off, because that limits your articulation, because that's there. And then I say fiddliness because, like, you can choose this option or not choose this option. Obviously, you're going to have him holding Sarah Jane the whole time. But what is the point of all of this? And that is, so you can store his gun. It does come in 2 parts, and it does look really nice, actually. You know, way nicer than the vintage one, and I will see all that when we do the vintage comparison. He's got some extra shotgun shells there. This thing does actually cock and load. Well, that make a great pose here in a little bit. It comes apart, and it's on tight. It's keyed too, so there's only one way to put it together. So you don't put it together upside down or anything. Now this is going to go into here and hold, and then this is going to go into here and hold. And that's what all that mess is for. And then with the gun holding hand, you could put it on his hip, and then this could be like, pointing, folding, and all of that. Let's get into some heads. He does have this face mask, and in the illustration itself, it actually shows, where's that? It shows underneath, the face mask is underneath all the hair, and they give you the mane and all that to tuck it under there. I'm sure if I worked it, I could work it up there a little bit more, but I don't prefer that look. I actually like this look, and I actually like the head sculpt that they packed on it. Now this little piece here, it's like a little antenna, and you have movement, because it's made in 2 parts, movement to this right here, so in the back, but it doesn't really do much for articulation. Maybe it's just to help, I don't know. I don't really know. But the other head is right here, and he's just a scowling, angry head. It's a nice looking head sculpt, but I prefer the one with the teeth. A little bit more personality going on with this head sculpt. So that's the head sculpt I'm going to use. And I guess we'll finish out and round out fist. We've got a fist here on both sides. We've got more of an open, the same hand I've got here, except it's on the right side, so you can have it like a hand on his gun, hand on his hip, that kind of stuff. This is just a lesser degree opening, more like you're grabbing something, and then you can do the trigger finger on either side. So pretty much that's heads, fists, face stuff. The last 2 fists are used, I guess, to hold these pickaxes. You can use them as hammers or flip them around to be pickaxes. I'm sure I used them in the show. I just don't remember it so much. And I'm not going to do both hands, but I think this one... Okay, so there's a possibility that this inner one will come out too. It is what it is. And there it is. Tighten that up. Yeah, I mean, it would look okay in both hands. I'm not going to display it like that. It's just a nice addition. I guess it's fun. Nice accessories to go with it. I mean, for the price point and a ton of accessories, it's pretty fine. But it's an easy swap out of the hands. But with this one, it pulled out the other piece that inserted, so you have to like get some pliers, pop them out and stuff. But aside from that, pretty good with the hand system. pulling all this off so we can do some articulation. So the head, it actually has articulation in the lower neck. So you can get that, like, it doesn't, it is a bit restrictive because of all the hair and all the stuff that's going on. But you get some neck and stuff going on, so you can get up pretty high. Does that really show up on camera? And then side, there's just a lot going on with it. You can get it out there pretty far and back a bit. So the head, double ball jointed, double shoulder goes out to about the 90. Then of course there's all the cheats you can do. You know, if you've been doing this a while, you know there's cheats to get everything you need out of every joint. He's got double jointed, of course the bicep swiveled, double jointed elbow, and so yeah, everything I would need. And then we already went over the hands, up and down, spin around. Actually, you could get them in and out depending on how you want to. If you rotate this piece here, you can get it in and out instead of up and down. However you want to do it. So those are options. And the elbow comes off. Now we have the diaphragm articulation. So it's ball jointed at the diaphragm and at the waist. So you can get all that you would want with that. And it holds tight. So a lot of times when I see these kind of diaphragm type of articulations, they don't hold well. I don't know if it's the straps that are making it hold really well, or just, I mean, it's just built pretty solid. You know, so you can get some crazy wild poses. Now this is what he looks like kind of when he's doing his transformation. But I guess we'll get him off the stand for the rest of this. All right, so sounds like Ratchet's in there. It goes pretty much as far as you want to go past the 90. That popped off. It does have a drop down, so you can get this dude super tall. I wouldn't go too much further to the back than that. Drop down, and you can get pretty close. Not quite 90. He's not doing the splits, but this character doesn't really do that. Here's side to side. Knee. That knee only goes to there. But with the knee and that joint, it goes to there. Let's get this. So knee to there, this joint to there. Move it back like this, you can have all that. Or you can just take it straight. And it's all clickety in there. So there's articulation here, which is nice. And then the foot, it's ratcheted. You see the ratchet. And it's a lot of weight he's got to hold up. And he can stand on his own without the stand. Although the stand is probably preferable because of all of his weight. You can make him stand on his own. Like so. Great job on articulation, Ace. I guess I forgot to talk about how his tail is ball jointed. Up, down, all around. He's excited, but there. That's another point of articulation that probably matters a little bit. All right, now we're going to get into comparison time, and we're going to need to adjust this a lot. But between these two, okay, so you get the extra stand with the 3.0, the Techno Horse. You get the stand for BraveStarr or the Marshal. And now this Marshal figure is an interesting figure. There's a lot of options you can do with him. He's got his axe. He's got his gun. He's got all of his stuff, which it's great. And you don't have to have this on it, and I just have it on it. It's fine. But size-wise, like I even have the legs doing the whole backwards thing. You can make them taller if you want to. So size-wise, it's a really good size figure. Now, I'm going to bring in some of these other ones for this comparison. And then later we'll have a nice clickbait. But there he is next to the Sharif. And here he is next to Will Smith from Wild Wild West. Before he slapped, he shot with guns. So I guess it's better to slap than to pull a gun, all right? Then Cowboy Carl or Curtis? Cowboy Curtis from Pee-wee Herman, and the Lawrence Fishburne, of course. Probably know him as the dad on Boys in the Hood, but probably as Morpheus from all that. Okay, anyhow, so that's some stuff that's out there. Now, I do want to say on this Sheriff figure, it's a nice looking figure. It's okay, it's nice. It feels way less quality than what Ramen made. But, hey, where's this line's 3-0? See, I think they beat Ramen to the market with this guy and didn't do anything else. So Ramen's got Tex Hex coming, which now I got to get a Tex Hex out. But now that I mentioned that, I got to get it out. But you know what? Before we go any further, one thing I noticed is we didn't get any Carium this go around. We've already got the mold for it. Why not? Why did we not get Carium? Why not get carried away? I would probably get plenty of it with Tex Hex. Like a big old bag, right? Now to compare it to the vintage one, now it is on a doll stand, and we are going to need to back this thing up and raise the flag. No, raise the camera. Okay, there we go. Much big. The vintage one is just ridiculous. Now, if you look at the hooves, slightly higher because he is held up on a doll stand. I only have 2 unbroken 30-30s. It's really hard to get one that's unbroken, so I keep them stored very safely and keep them unbroken. It's hard to get an unbroken 30-30. Anyway, yeah, this, I'm not worried about breaking this. I'm terrified I'm going to break that. It's just nerve-wracking messing with the thing. And then if you can look here, this is what the vintage gun looked like. And it comes apart in 2 parts. Actually, this splits into 2 parts too, which is weird. If you see that, it splits into 2 pieces. And part of the manufacturing process clips on right there. And I'm probably not getting that in really well. But, yeah. Is it even showing up? But it's almost as long as it. But, yeah, this one is a much better gun. I mean, they just try to figure out how cheaply they can make it back in the day. And I will also say, comparing to this 30-30, the vintage one, all the red stuff, it's like kind of challenging to get all the red stuff for a vintage 30-30. And now they've gone a different route with kind of how they do things with the new one, the Techno Horse, which I think it's done better. Like there's paint on this, there's no paint on that. And yeah, it's really interesting how it's done. It's similar yet different. I mean, it's a kind of a hip thing here, but I like it. I like how Ramen went about doing all the red bits on it. And here he is next to a vintage BraveStarr. I think he would make a great companion piece to the vintage BraveStarr. Probably bring him up just a bit so you can see size and all that. But you can extend the legs, make him a little bit taller. Yeah, I think it'd be a great figure to have on your vintage BraveStarr shelf. Works for me. Yeah, looks good. Looks good. It works. It's kind of the 30-30 that more cartoon accurate that you kind of always wanted, and now you can get it. All right, so this is my look at the Ramen Toy 30-30 Techno Horse, and I did get this from Gundam It. You can get yours too. I have a link down below if they have any left in stock. And a lot of the times the Ramen stuff sells out before it even comes in because they don't order, huge quantities from Gundam It. But this figure is a very nice representation of the character, very cartoon accurate, more cartoon accurate to the vintage one. Has a lot of bits and pieces to it that can be fiddly, but they are, in hindsight, very necessary. He didn't come with any Carium this go around. Maybe we'll get it with Tex Hex. I don't know. I could never get too much Carium. I can't get too carried away with Carium, if you know what I mean. But let me know what you guys think about this Techno Horse from Ramen Toy. And is this something you're excited for? Is BraveStarr even a franchise that you know of or are interested in? It's one of the 80s lines that I feel like everyone knows. And now it's getting some love with the Techno horse. Remember, like and subscribe, all that fun stuff. TH support the reviewer at Shozy or Gundam it. Head to your hanger out.